All right, let's do it. Let's talk about the Cardinals and the Bears. We got to figure out, are the Cardinals good? Sitting here at the top of the NFC West, a tight division still with about half a season left to go. But Arizona wins this one at home. Weird game, right? Dome was open, then it started to rain in Arizona. Don't really expect that. And then it took forever for the dome to actually close, which I thought was hilarious because while one team was out there, the dome was closing very close. I think the Cardinals were actually on offense when that was going on, but it was just, I don't know, it was kind of funny to see that play out. But 29-9. I mean, this one felt like it was Cardinals all the way. I think over the last couple of weeks, we have wondered, is this offense just going to be a roller coaster? Is it just going to be a roller coaster of an offense? And this was certainly the very top of it. Let's look at the top 5 graded players here for the Cardinals. Tight end Elijah Higgins was at the very top of this list with a 90.0. Guard Evan Brown with an 82.6. Linebacker Kaiser White had a 74.7. Running back James Conner feels like he has just been steady this entire season, 73.8. And then edge rusher Jesse Luketa with a 73.6. Kyler Murray in this game, a 60.6. Up and down for Kyler Murray, even though they got the win. On Chicago's side of things, guard Matt Pryor with an 81.3. Cornerback Tyreek Stevenson, who was benched, didn't start, but then I think he was out there third play of the game or something, so it was kind of funny. 78.3. Center Coleman Shelton with a 71.4. Safety Elijah Hicks with a 69.7. Wide receiver Rome Odunze with a 66.2. And then Caleb Williams in this game, a 57.9. Dalton, what's your stat that told the story? And then, of course, are the Cardinals good?
The Cardinals are good.
Okay.
If their offensive line.
No, not if.
No,
it's not if.
I got ifs. I love ifs and splits and all that stuff. So if their offensive line continues to play the way they've played the last 3 weeks, they are absolutely good.
Okay.
And I think the fun part. Okay, first of all, this game. We know they ran for 213 yards. That's big time, especially against a Bears defense that had been pretty good, albeit better on the back end than the front end, right? 80.5 overall grade for their offensive line, best of the season. 77.2 run blocking grade, best since week 4. The last 3 weeks, all right? 3-game win streak, they've had the 5th best offensive line in football. This is where it sits. You've got guys like Paris Johnson at left tackle really developing. Evan Brown was a guy who had a monster game in this game, especially in the run game. I think you're getting a team. You asked me, is the offense a roller coaster? Kind of, but they actually don't want it to be. And I think it's a lot represented by those top 5 graded guys because they want to dial it back and run the ball. It's not like you would think, okay, they have Kyler Murray and all these receivers and Harrison and Wilson and McBride and all this, and they want to spread it out and get empty and do all the things he did, let's say, at Oklahoma in college. And it's not the case. They want to dial it back. And they want to beat people up the way that a team like the Lions or the Eagles do, right? And that's actually when they've been most successful this season. I got to credit Drew Petzing a lot. I'll go with him as my most impressive because, look, they use a lot of tight ends, okay? You saw Elijah Higgins there. Trey McBride's great. They have the second highest graded offense in the league right now when they have multiple tight ends on the field, behind Baltimore, who's got 3 freaks at tight end, right? That's a tight end-centric offense. Third in yards per carry in the league behind, I believe it's Baltimore and San Francisco when they have multiple tight ends on the field. And in their 5 wins, this is where it doesn't have to be a roller coaster. And I can absolutely call them good if they just keep doing what they're doing. In their 5 wins, they run at 49.8% of the time, roughly 50-50, right? Their 4 losses, 37.5% run. They want to run the football. They want to put these tight ends on the field, and they want Kyler Murray actually to be a more complementary piece in structure. We know he can do the things out of structure. He can run, and there's certain times when maybe he'll improvise too much. We saw that in an earlier game this year. It was a divisional game. I can't remember which one they lost, but it's just the thing. When this team has balance, and I've said this with a lot of teams this year, but I think this is another one. They get James Conner rolling. They get Trey Benson going. Maybe even Kyler in the run game a little bit. They're extremely dangerous because they can throw a million formations at you. We talked about Trey McBride as an X factor, but I think Drew Petzing, their offensive coordinator, is doing just a fantastic job of balancing all of the weapons he has on offense through the air and on the ground.
And I think particularly what you said is completely true. This is my most impressive and also stat that told the story. It was kind of a bad QB game for both Kyler Murray and Caleb Williams. I feel like Kyler did better things well, but he was still very, what was this supposed to be?
Well, no, I was just going to say, the difference is, 2, mid-quarterback games, who could run the ball better?
Right, who ran the ball better. And Arizona absolutely ran the ball better. And I think when you look at James Conner, somebody in the chat pointed this out, and they're correct, 4th 100-yard game of the season for him already here 9 weeks in. He's on pace to have a career year when it comes to rushing yards. The Arizona Cardinals right now are the 4th best team in the NFL when it comes to EPA per rush. And getting back to what you said, when you have a quarterback like Kyler Murray, it's very tempting to put the ball in his hands at all times and just say, hey, let's put you in a situation where you can make magic happen at all times. Because it's that age-old, well, how much do you rope in a player that gives you that kind of spectacular ability? Well, Petzing and the Cardinals, that's exactly what they're doing. They're saying, no, we don't need you to be Superman all the time. We want to run the ball. We don't want this to be the Kyler Murray show. For as good as Kyler Murray is, and this is, again, like I'm giving the Cardinals credit here, it's very tempting to just put the ball in Kyler Murray's hands all the time and say, make something happen.
And you see it happen.
But instead, they're not.
You see it happen in big moments. In big moments, too. The Dolphins game, the end of the 49er game. I mean, there are times when he has to do that. But they're better when they don't ask him to do that for 60 minutes. If they need a drive or two out of him from that, of the hero ball, then that's fine. That's a reasonable amount. But the fact that they don't have to do it, if they have a team that's good enough that they don't have to ask Kyler to do that for 4 quarters, they're absolutely good, and they very well could be going to the playoffs.
Yeah, I think that people, when we talk about quarterback ceiling, like this is a draft conversation as well. When you draft a quarterback that has the ability, when we covet quarterbacks so much that give you the ability to make the spectacular plays, that doesn't mean that has to be your whole game plan. In fact, it shouldn't. Like what you said there, I love the way that you put it. I think that's a really great way to just look at offense. This is the identity of what the offense is going to be. Now, because we play in the National Football League and it is professionals all around, something is going to go wrong. And it's in those moments that you want to have the quarterback who can do the spectacular and get you out of trouble. It's just those 2 to 5 plays a game, really, that you need that caliber of a quarterback, not the other 55 dropbacks. The other 55 dropbacks, in my opinion, have to be more structured. Because if you even some of the best quarterbacks in the world, if you let that happen, it can be too volatile for you to have enough success. But that's sort of how I view the Cardinals and what's going on there. I agree. The offensive line deserves a shout out. James Conner deserves a shout out, and so does Drew Petzing for saying we're going to run the football, and they're a top 5 team in the NFL right now at doing so.
I want to go to the other side of the ball. I want to talk about the Cardinals defense, which early in the year, the Cardinals defense was giving up a lot of space, like literal real estate on the field, and teams were killing them. And I think when we talk about like zone defense in the NFL, we think, or zone defense in football, we think, oh, well, there's space between the linebackers and the safeties and the corners, whatever. In the NFL, you can't really do that. Quarterbacks are way too good when you give them space. And the Cardinals were playing off, giving a lot of space, underneath, but also a lot of space between the linebacker and safety level. And they have really cut that down. They've become more cohesive as a unit on defense. And if you can do that, even without, like, they don't have a ton of talent on this defense. There's some good pieces there. But if you can at least get tighter to routes and play with the right leverage, you can have a successful defense in the NFL. And they were not doing that early in the season. They've been so much better. And you saw Caleb is a guy who will feel like he needs to move around more in the pocket. So there is that aspect to this game in particular, but I think a lot of that was on the Cardinals defense, forcing him off his first reads and then making plays in the backfield.
My most disappointing in this game was I have Caleb Williams here that I wrote down. 6 sacks that were credited to Caleb Williams, 60.3 passing grade, 0 big-time throws, 0 turnover-worthy plays, and just a 66.7 adjusted completion percentage here in this game. It was a struggle for Caleb, but I think the answer is actually just the Chicago Bears passing offense in general, right? On the show, we've been critics of Shane Waldron and how it feels like we don't think that he's doing a great job as offensive coordinator, whether it's by play design or play calls or just overall feel for the offense. You also look at the receivers in this game. Keenan Allen gets 10 targets, 4 of them caught, and some of them were Caleb issues, some of them were Keenan Allen issues. I mean, that connection is not nearly what we thought that it was going to be when they end up making the move to go get Keenan Allen. I thought that he was going to be that steady veteran presence, and it just feels like he is not. DJ Moore in this game, he also got 9 targets for 4 catches, 33 yards, and just kind of a strange year for DJ Moore. He seems very frustrated. There was a play that I didn't see this until I saw it on social media, but the play is actively going on, and DJ Moore is like coming back to the ball, and Caleb Williams is scrambling all over, and the play is literally still going on. And I think that DJ Moore maybe like tweaks his hamstring or something, but he just walks off the field. Like the play is going on, and he just walks straight off the field, and it's just such a strange vibe. And you can say to yourself like, okay, well he was hurt, but at the same time, like if he's kind of like limping and walking off of the field, just stay on the field and be a threat. The second you walk off the field and you walk straight towards the bench, well, then guess what your defender and the corner and the safety that are paying attention to you are doing? They're now free to go get Caleb or cover a different receiver. It's a very strange mindset when you do something like that. And it makes me think that, okay, Chicago might be in trouble here. Like there's already been questions about the offensive coordinator. Matt Eberflus is on the hot seat before the year even began. Now the Bears are sitting here at 4-4. Their schedule sucks. I mean, their schedule is brutal moving forward. This could absolutely be a team that I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but I'm saying that it's got a better chance than not to really, however you want to say, fall down or fall up the draft, climb up the draft order. Stacking up some losses here in the second half of the season because it's a very, very hard schedule. And unless they play the best ball that we have seen the Chicago Bears play yet, they're going to lose more than they win here down the stretch.
They are going through the ebbs and flows of having a rookie quarterback. And I think, and Caleb is a serious ebb and flow guy. Even at USC with everything he was doing, that was the case. And right now he's also one of the least accurate quarterbacks in football, especially when he tries to work his way downfield. But this was the first game, I think, that I really had to dig into. My most disappointing part actually is Matt Eberflus and this defense. I'm coming out of this game a little worried about it, right? I know Jaquan Brisker was out, but most of the rest of the defense is healthy, right? And when let me put it like this, because the Bears defense, they're talented. They got a lot of talent. You got Brisker, you have Johnson, you have T.J. Edwards and Montez Sweat and all the guys. And it's maybe right now the simplest defense in football. They disguise at an average rate. They don't blitz a whole lot. I always talked about the signature of Matt Eberflus' defense being safety rotations, and they kind of do that at an average rate right now. They don't bring anything to the table. And I thought this was a moment. I had to look at this because the Cardinals, they use all these extra tight ends, all these extra guys on the line of scrimmage. Coming into this game, the Bears did not run a single play with more than 4 defensive linemen on the field. And in this game, they ran it. It was actually their It was their first 3 plays of the season with more than 4 D linemen on the field, and they were all down on the goal line, like at their own 1-yard line. So, okay, yeah, it's going to be a thing. And they just stayed in it. There was just they stayed in their base defense against a team, that okay, if they're going to put 7 guys up front and you're going to stay in a 4-man front, well, yeah, schematically, no matter who they are, they're just going to run you over. And the Bears just kind of laid down and took it that way. And the other thing I'm a little worried about with this Bears team, okay, their 3 highest graded games on defense came against Will Levis and Andy Dalton and the Panthers and the Jaguars in that London game. Those are 3 last place caliber teams. Anytime they've played a real offense this year, this defense has not looked as good. As in, they've just been so dominant in those 3 games that I think that might be propping up the numbers a little bit. I'm coming out of this game almost as worried about their defense as I am their offense. And it's schematically, it's so simple that I don't know actually what the fix would be.
Vibes aren't great. Vibes are not great.
Vibes are horrifying
it's
in
bad.
Chicago. It's really bad.
There's a chance that this could
They have yet to play a divisional game.
Snowball, which is the part of the schedule.
So you're saying they have a chance to win the division?
Absolutely, but not the way they played yesterday.
So you're saying they're undefeated in the division?
Yes.
So you're saying that right now the Chicago Bears are undefeated in the toughest division in football halfway through the season?
That's the good news. Statistically, that is true.
All right.
Tell us the bad news. You kind of just did, actually.
So the Cardinals are good?
Yeah.
The Cardinals good?
Love it.
All right.
Love it. I like what they do.
I want to believe.
I'm actually going to broaden that. Any of those 4 teams could win the NFC West. Any of them.
What did you broaden it to?
The NFC West, the whole thing.
No, I know, but
You're saying the Chicago Bears could win the NFC West?
Not the Bears. Any of those 4 NFC West teams No, the Bears would not win the NFC.
Right. But what was it before?
Just the Cardinals.
You broadened it.
Just the Cardinals being good.
Okay, so you're saying that they have a legitimate chance to win the division, not the fact that it's fool's gold that they're at the top
No,
9 weeks into the
I think any of those four, including them, could win that division.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Quite the statement.